Hello, comrades, and welcome to another Dominaria Crack. I got extra packs, and I like Dominaria, so I'm gonna open them and make the draft gods angry. Sapling and forest out of the way. Wait, what sapling is it? It's my favorite sapling. It's broccoli head sapling. I love broccoli head sapling. Alright. First up, Bloodstone Goblet. 2 mana 2/2, and when you cast a kicker spell, it gets +1/+1 and gain menace until end of turn. I find 2/2s for 2 aren't particularly in a great spot this format. There are a lot of 1/3s that make it really easy to block. This one has a little utility value that it can become a 3/3 menace if you kick something, but that's generally not until turn 5 anyway, so like it's a C, he'll get in the deck sometimes and you'll be happy, but often not. Alright, Excavator Elephants. So this is like the big bum pillar field ox of the format. It is a 5 mana 3/5 with a kicker of 1 and a white, and if it was kicked when there's the battlefield, return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. There's certainly enough artifact cards to make this playable, but nothing special. I suspect he's a C-. I suspect you don't want to play him, but he'll creep into your deck sometime. Alright, next up, Artificer's Assistant, or Little Birdie. It is a 1 mana 1/1 flyer, which generally I don't want to play, and it has when you cast a historic spell, Scry 1. This is a D. You don't want to play this card. 1/1 flyer for 1. There's the great 20-turn clock that just never gets there, and you're never going to cast enough artifacts to scry to make it worth. And if you ever draw this on like turn 7, it is just nothing. Next up, Soul Salvage. It's return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand for a black and 2 colorless sorcery. These are usually a D. This is a slower format, so I can see some matches you want to sideboard it in against, because, it is a build your own divination type card, and you'll get 2 spells, but generally a D, probably more of a sideboard card. There are some matches you'll bring this in and be happy when the game goes really long and grindy, but even then there are better grindy cards I find in this. Alright, here's a contender. Grow from the Ashes. That's 1 green, 2 colorless for a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tap with a kicker of 2, and if you kicked it for 2, you get to go find 2 lands. This is the overall front runner so far. Oftentimes, because of powerful legends, you'll end up splashing. This helps with a splash. Helps get to your big kicker spells. Helps you produce a ridiculous 4-color deck like I did on Saturday. This is a fine card. This is a C+. This is one of the better commons that just don't straight up kill a creature, and I'd be looking to pick this card so far. Alright, Blink of an Eye. It is 1 blue, 1 colorless for an instant that return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and if you kick it for blue and a colorless, you also get to draw a card. So there are some kicker cards you're almost always going to kick, and some kicker cards you're almost never going to kick. This is one where you want to kick it most of the time. This is a B. I'm probably right now taking this over Grow from the Ashes, though by the end of the format I don't know if it's true. But it's almost always going to be 4 mana, bounce a permanent, draw a card. The only time it won't be that is likely against some of the red-white aggressive decks when they stick an aura on a creature, and then you're getting your, 1-for-1 plus your tempo with Blink of the Eye anyway. So this is what I'm picking so far. Alright, Seismic Shift is definitely not going to dethrone Blink of an Eye. It is 4 mana, 1 red, 3 colorless, sorcery, destroy target land. Not very relevant. Though I guess if you're facing a ridiculous 5-color deck, it could be. But the relevant text is up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. That's probably what you're playing this for most of the time, and at 4 mana, it's not a very good effect. So I'm going to give this like a D. Like, you don't want to play this card. Alright, Aven Sentry. It is a 3 colorless, 1 white bird soldier, 3/2 flyer with a lot of flavor text. This guy's a C. He'll make it into your deck sometimes. If he doesn't, you're not particularly upset. Pretty interchangeable. I'd be happy to run him. I'd be just as happy not to. Alright, Kimball and Jellicle is 1 black, 1 colorless for a 2/2 human cleric with text. Neither the creature or job isn't very good. I'm not looking to run 2/2s for 2 in this format. I just don't think they line up well. Most things has shown me, and this has like no added upside. So this is like D+. It'll get in there sometimes, but you're not. I don't think you're looking to run this card. Alright, next up is Penundra Worm. It is 2 green, 4 colorless for a 7/6, and it does not have the word trample on it. I miss Colossal Dreadmaw, to be honest. I think Colossal Dreadmaw was a really good green common for what green looks for in big guys. Without trample, like, I don't want to play this guy. They're random saplings, and other just random 1/1s they can just block with. This is a D. I don't want to run this guy. With all the legends, there's way better 6 mana cards. Alright, so we have an uncommon. It's Adamite Wall. It is a 4 mana for 0/6 defender. And for 2 mana, it gains indestructible until end of turn. And there's really not a lot that gets through the 0/6. The real problem with it is, 4 mana, that tends to be a bit late for your early defense to come out. I guess the 2 mana is nice, though there are like blue will just shrink it and make it lose the ability for its common removal, and white just exiles it. This is D+, C-. Sometimes it'll sneak its way into your deck, sometimes it won't. Alright, Hallowing Golem. It is a 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. The 2 power, again, really is a problem because there's a lot of 1/3s at common. But in an aggressive deck, this is fine because you're probably going to take advantage of the drawing a card more often than not. Still, it is symmetrical, so if they stabilize, then he's really helping you get behind. If you need an historic card, this guy's fine to get in. Overall, I'd give him a C+. The fact he's colorless, can fit into any decks, gives him a little boost. I'm still not looking to play him over either of those 2 cards, though. Alright, and the rare is a Sylvan Awakening. Until your next turn, all lands you control become 2/2 element creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. This is basically a D unless you end up with 4 Grow from the Ashes, or 3 Grow from the Ashes, then it can actually be a legitimate finisher. But you're not going to first pick this. If you have like a big Grow from the Ashes, get lots of lands deck out, you can reasonably take this thing. It'll be a reasonable finisher, but for your average deck, it's a D. I don't want it. And finally, Rona, Disciple of Gix. It is 1 black, 1 colorless, 1 blue for a 2/2 legendary creature, human artificer, so no relevant types. When Rona, Disciple of Gix enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic card from your graveyard. You may cost 9 land cards exiled with Rona, and for 4 and tap, you can exile the top card of your library. This card is close to my heart because I love slow, grindy cards. But I think I would just rather first pick the Blink of an Eye because it goes into more decks than Rona does. Though I would give Rona, when you're playing, a blue-black grindy deck, Rona is really good. It would be a B, but I don't want to first pick it as a B. I'd rather just first pick something like Blink of an Eye or Grow from the Ashes. Alright. So those are the 2 cards I've narrowed down for first pick. I'd first pick Blink of the Eye. If you pick Grown from the Ashes, I'd be okay with that too. I'm fine with big mana ramp decks in this format, but I think Blink of the Eye is just more versatile, and it has, draw a card on it. So how can you say no to that? Goodbye, comrades.